Subukan po natin kung okay ng ating linya kay Assistant Professor Froilan Calilong, isa po sa mga faculty ng UST Political Science Department. Okay, girl.
Good morning po, Professor.
Good morning DJ Chacha, good morning Manong Ted, at good morning din po sa lahat ng ating mga kasubaybay. Happy New Year po sa lahat.
Happy New Year, Professor, and welcome back to the show. Ito muna pag-usapan natin, nung nakaraang linggo, lumabas po itong dalawang major surveys, one from SWS and then there's one from Pulse Asia, na parehong nagpapakita po nung pagbaba ng trust ratings ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. Magkaiba yung eksaktong numbers, pero sinasabi pareho dun sa studies na may kinalaman sa anti-corruption drive, maging sa pagkontrol ng inflation kung bakit ganito yung naging pagbaba ng trust ratings ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. Pero para sa ating mga pangkaraniwang Pilipino, paano ba natin dapat intindihin itong dalawang surveys na ito? At paano pa ito makakaapekto sa amin?
Well, kung titingnan po natin, ito pong dalawang surveys ito nagpapakita lamang talaga nung tinatawag natin na trajectory nung mga naging pagdaloy, lalong-lalo na nitong mga investigation sa flood control. I think the President missed a very, very important turning point here, no? Particularly noong June, July actually, when he had his SONA, I think the momentum was already there because he already said that statement, mahiya naman kayo, and it was really applauded not only by the people in the gallery, but I think by the entire Philippine nation. Pero kasi the months after that, I think we actually saw a drastic slowdown. So nawalan nung tinatawag nating momentum at nawala nung mas masasabi nating solid, decisive effect yung kanyang mga ginawa dito sa flood control scandal, to the point that even if there were already a lot of mechanisms already in place, nandiyan na yung mga pasabog ni Zaldico, nandiyan na rin yung mga naghanap na rally, I think it really failed to get that upswing, no? And I think ito yung naging dahilan kung bakit hanggang ngayon wala tayong masasabi ng mga mabibigat na mga personalidad at mga malalaking isda na napakulong. And this is actually contrary to what he promised to us. So ang nangyayari dito kasi is parang it's more of a paralysis, I would say, na parang nag-stall talaga yung palasyo. Especially nung yung mga kaalyado na niya, yung mga masasabi nating madadawit dito, I think the President really tried to press on the panic button and medyo siya, nag-slow down talaga. Ito yung nakita natin dito sa mga nagdaang surveys.
Oo, balikan ko lang po ulit, ang ganda ng mga sinabi ninyo. Sabi nyo nga, the President missed a very important turning point. Mula dun sa simula, nung ni-reveal niya po o inilabas niya yung korupsyon dito sa flood control, hanggang sa ngayon, kung nasa saan na tayo, kung saan nakikita ng tao na puro maliliit na isda ang nakakulong. Babalikan ko po itong survey na ito ng SWS, maging ng Pulse Asia. Medyo magkaiba yung resulta eh. I don't know kung nakita nyo na po mismo, pero hindi eksakto yung number, pero yung bang dahilan, yung ginamitan kung bakit naging ganun yung pagbaba, inflation and corruption pareho, kailan nagiging meaningful yung pagkakaiba ng resulta ng dalawang surveys na ito. Ang sinasabi ng Malacanang, those are just numbers, hindi yan makakaapekto sa performance ng Pangulo, pero kailan nila dapat seryosohin ito, lalo dalawang magkaibang survey, ang nakita natin, bumaba talaga ng matindi yung trust ratings ng Pangulo.
Well, the President can always dispel this surveys as something that is insignificant. But no, the surveys are necessarily guides for better governance and more decisive actions. No, so if the President really wants to salvage whatever political capital is left of him, I think they need to take it seriously. And we need to understand that these are two reputable survey firms. No, I'm talking about the SWS and Pulse Asia. And kung makikita natin, talagang significant yung dip doon sa kanyang survey ranking. So basically, -3 and -14, no? Kung titignan natin yung disparity between the trust and the distrust, basically. So this is really big, and the President cannot just simply brush this aside as something that will not affect his performance, because really, this is a manifestation or sinasalamin nito yung kasalukuyang performance na meron siya, basically. And this is very, very problematic at this part.
Hindi ko po sure kung kaya nyo sa amin ipaliwanag to, Professor. Pero kasi may mga nagtatanong kung bakit mas mababa yung net trust ni Marcos Jr. dun sa SWS compared sa Pulse Asia. Help us understand, paano po nangyari na ganun kung ang parehong issue na pinagbasihan is inflation and corruption? Ba't naging ganun yung data natin? Ayun, naputol lang yata si Professor. Babalikan po natin siya mamaya. Pero sinasabi niya sa huling tanong natin, kasi nga po ang sinasabi ng palasyo dito, it will not affect kung ano man ang performance ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. Yes, Professor, you're back. Professor? Ayun, wala pa rin po. Ang sinasabi niya, galing itong survey from two reputable firms at dapat daw talagang tignang maigi ng palasyo kung saan sila nagkulang dito. Though dun sa sinabi niya kanina, the president missed a very important turning point. What could have been, ano nga kaya talaga dapat ang ginawa nila para nagdire-diretso yung momentum. But anyway, Professor, balikan natin, paano po ba natin ipapaliwanag? Ba't ganon? Yung net trust ni Marcos Jr. mas mababa sa SWS compared sa Pulse Asia. Kung tutuusin, pareho lang naman po yung ginamit. They're talking about inflation and also corruption na naging dahilan kung ba't ganito yung naging pagbaba. Pero ba't hindi same numbers?
Well, basically, no surveys actually taking it from a scientific perspective will be exactly alike, no. And kung titingnan po natin, syempre may mga methodologies talaga na ginagamit tayo rito when it comes to surveys, and these are, the scientific assessments, several values, and yun nga, may mga margin of errors din tayo tinitingnan dito. Pero kung titingnan natin kasi rito, ang yung tinatawag natin mga undecided, I think talagang malapit siya, no. Same goes with the numbers that were posted for the Vice President. I think ito yung makikita natin na talagang merong pagkakahalintulan itong surveys na binigay. Pero ang siguro mas maganda tingnan natin dito, DJ Chacha, is kung paano talaga nangyari, na talagang lumagapak yung kanyang mga numero basically. And I think hindi dahil sa may ginagawa si VP Sara, anything significant, anything brilliant, but I think it's really the president and the government self-destructing at this point in time, talagang hindi nila nagawa na sabihin natin, bigyan ng magandang direksyon itong napakalaking issue na to, which I think, as I was mentioning a while ago, the president could have actually used this as a very important platform for him to wage an all-out war against corruption. Kaya lang kasi, kung meron talaga siyang pinoproteksyonan at kung meron talaga siyang kinakatakutan na madawit dito, and if all roads will lead to Malacanang, definitely he is in a very, very precarious situation at this point in time na hindi niya talaga magagawa decisively yung kanyang dapat gawin. At ito yung nakakaapekto doon sa kanyang pagbaba ng numero. So it's really a choice between, how to really navigate between having this low trust ratings and effectively addressing the issue of corruption na medyo ma-endanger din naman yung kanilang sitwasyon basically.
Okay, so ang linaw po ng sinasabi ni Professor, self-destruction, no? Dahil nga dito sa nangyari po na expose tungkol sa flood control scandal, na hindi napapangsiwaan ng maayos ang flow ng investigasyon. Kasi kaninyo, kung meron kang pinagtatakpan, definitely, parang Professor, parang yung taong bayan nag-oobserba na hindi lubos na nagagawa ang pagdiskubre sa katotohanan kasi nga may pinagtatakpan. Ganun po ang dapat natin na pag-unawa. Sa inyo binanggit, di ba, Professor? Ano po?
Tama po yun, Kasi if yun nga, yung binabagit ko kanina, yung tinatawag po natin na decisiveness, yung decision making at this point in time is very crucial for the president. At kung medyo meron talaga siya ritong pinapangambahan at meron siyang kinakatakutan, basically, ito yung nagiging hadlang sa kanya, para talaga isiwalat in the fullest extent itong issue na to ng corruption. Kasi sa totoo lang, maganda kasi talaga siyang gamiting barometro ng kanyang maaring maging legacy, Kasi this is really a very important issue na kung saan po pwede niya talagang linisin yung legacy ng kanyang pamilya. Because let's face it, the Marcos family has already been tainted with this issue of corruption from the very start, nung sa panahon ng kanyang ama. So ito sana ay magandang defining moment para sa kanya na para i-redeem yung kanilang pangalan at linisin yung kanilang yung mga masasamang impression na to. Pero ang nangyayari kasi, instead of doing this, parang mas lalong lumalabas yung impression that they're cuddling corruption and that they're afraid of really exposing it because yun nga, yung taong bayan nag-iisip na baka sila rin ay involved dito. So yun yung mahirap kasi, sabi nga natin, yung walang kasalanan, may really cast the first stone, and the way I'm seeing it here is that the president is really holding himself from going full throttle in these investigations because nangangamba rin ang Malacanang, na maaring may mga dokumento, may mga paper trails that will lead to the Malacanang doorstep. And true enough, binanggit na naman ito ni Zaldico, hindi nga lamang ito na amplifying liigi because ang ginagamit ng Malacanang lagi is denial and deflection election, no? And in the process, nadidisorient ang taong bayan.
Okay, so ito ngayon, ito ngayon ang critical, professor, ha? Ninyo. Yan ang sitwasyon. Sa pag-aanalisa po ni Professor Froilan, yan ang sitwasyon. Kumbaga, hindi mo magawa ng lubos ang gusto mong gawin, hindi mo mapangatawanan ang iyong mga pangako, kasi nga, baka sa bandang dulo, nandoon pala, o yung dulo ng lubid sa mismong pintuan ng Malacanang, so to speak. Ano ngayon ang critical sa unang quarter ng taon na ito? Kasi po, alam naman din natin, Professor, na sa July, second to the last zona na niya. Hindi ba? By next
Yes.
year po, last zona na. Meaning, hindi maitatanggi, sa nanunungkulan po ng 6 na taon, may pagkakataon dyan, papunta ka na sa lame duck na iyong panunungkulan. So ano ang critical? Una, para tumaas-taas man lang ang tiwala ng taong bayan sa Pangulong Marcos Jr., itong unang 3 quarter na ito, ano ang mga critical na dapat niyang gawin at ano ang dapat na asahan din natin sa mga obserbasyon mo nga na nangyayari ngayon sa ginagawang investigasyon?
Simple lang, Manong Ted, no? Unang-una, kinakailangan talaga magkaroon ng focus yung gobyerno, no? Hindi lang po pwedeng optics, hindi lang po pwede puro rhetorics, no? Kasi I think ang mga kababayan natin is really looking for something na drastic, no, na gagawin ng ating Pangulo. And for quite some time, no, nagbigay sila ng mga pahayag, nagbigay sila ng mga assertions that, may mga magkukulong na this time around. Well, I understand the government, no? They really want to come up with an airtight investigation. They really want to come up with very good cases, pero yung conviction naman does not really preclude people from being investigated. So I think what is important here is for the public to know that the wheels of justice is actually moving and that the focus of the president is really there. Ang nangyayari kasi is that instead of focusing head on this issue, nagkakaroon pa nagkakaroon pa ng mga diversions, no? Parang ang nangyayari is that yung mga kaalyado ng Pangulo, ang ina-amplify pa nila yung mga issues na political, no, lalong-lalo na dito sa mga Dutertes, no, which I think does not also sit well with the public, basically, because though yun nga, this corruption is a political issue, I think this mess right now that the government is into would really best be addressed by the government because they have all the resources available with them, no. Ang kailangan lang talaga is focus and the political will. Secondly, kinakailangan din siguro makita ng ating taong bayan na yung decisiveness to control corruption is also invariably connected with effective governance. Kinakailangan mapaayos natin yung ating mga economic imperatives, which right now is really not in a very good shape, no? That's why kung maalala natin sa survey, lumalabas doon, inflation and unemployment remains to be very important considerations, no? So lumalabas na dahil sa sobrang involved tayo dito sa corruption scandal na to, nawawalan yung government ng focus doon sa iba't ibang mga issues. So, we're one of the countries, I believe, in Southeast Asia that has the lowest tourism revenues for 2025, no? So nakakalungkot na ang dami sana pwedeng gawin at ibalita sa atin ng gobyerno na magandang ginagawa nila, pero medyo nalulunod sila dito sa political noise. I think they need to re-establish that focus. And siguro kailangan din, Manong Ted, no, na tignan din natin how the government will react to other issues. Maraming issues na kinakaharap tayo na hindi nabibigyan ng atensyon ng gobyerno. Halimbawa, ano na nangyari sa Maharlika Fund? What happened to the gold that was sold by the government in the past year? Ano nang nangyari dito sa mga infrastructures na ginagawa natin? Ano nang nangyari sa budget ng halimbawa ng Department of Education o dito sa Department of Health nung sa 2025 gaan? So all of these things, no? Kasi itong flood control para sa akin is just the tip of the iceberg. Meron pang mas malalim na mga corruption related matters na hindi pa rin talaga na isasewalat sa atin ng gobyerno. And if the government will actually take the lead or take the charge in making the people understand na meron pa palang mas malalaking iskandalo, I think this will somehow make the public realize that the government is really serious about fighting corruption head-on.
Gawin natin halimbawa itong Cabral Files o DPWH leaks at ngayon binansagan naman ng palasyo na Leviste Files. Gawin natin halimbawa ito. Sa nangyaring ito, vis-a-vis the reaction and the narrative of the palace. Ano ang iyong analysis doon, Froilan?
Well, basically ito nga nangyayari, no? I think we have good people in the persona of Congressman Leviste, same goes with Kiko Barsaga, who is actually very brave about exposing what's really happening, you know. And kung nakikita naman ng Malacanang that the people's sentiments align with their vision itong mga batang-batang kongresista na to, I think the government should also not be oblivious to the demands of the public. Greater scrutiny, and at the same time, huwag nilang iset aside, huwag nilang baliwalain. Ang nangyayari kasi nababrush aside lahat itong mga isinisawalat nila when in fact these are very integral matters that will really shed light into the issue. Kaya yun nga, nagkakaroon ng impression yung iba sa ating mga kababayan na maaring may mga takipan na nangyayari kasi ito nga, no, maliwanag na, nandito na yung mga files. What the government just need to do is to scrutinize them well, investigate it further, and then eventually file the necessary cases, no? Because, you know, Manong Ted, para sa akin, itong issue ng flood control na to, is not really that difficult to begin with. Kasi nga, the paper trails are there, the allegations that were made, the projects are there, the ghost projects and the substandard ones are there. So you just need to really, kumaga, uncover them. And ito nga, may mga nag-uncover na, pero mukhang pilit ibinabalik ng gobyerno yung takip, no? Para hindi talaga sumambulat at hindi lumabas yung katotohanan. And I think this is what the public is demanding for a long time because justice will always be equated with the truth, no? And for as long as wala sa atin yung katotohanan, hindi natin makakamit yung tunay na hustisya. And this becomes the cornerstone of trust. You know? Kaya mababa yung trust is because hindi ibinibigay sa atin yung katotohanan.